Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Today I am going to be creating this look here. The palette that I'm using today is the Beauty Bay Earthy palette. Now here's a little bit of a background story. This is the second time that I'm using this palette. I filmed a whole first impressions video of this. I created a really dark green smoky eye. When I came to import the footage, I had filmed it in standard definition instead of high definition, and it looked like I had filmed the video on a potato, so you're never going to see that footage ever again, but I will insert pictures of the look that I created. It was a lot darker, a lot more smoky. It was a halo eye, so there was so much of the dark green on my eyes. So I wanted to create something a little bit lighter today using the more brighter greens, and I really like how this has turned out, so I talk you through the eye look. I have also swatched all of the shades for you, so I will talk you through all of those and talk you through all of the finishes and everything in the Earthy palette. So if you want to see how I created this look and what other products I used, then just keep on watching. So before we dive into applying the makeup, I want to just do some swatches. So this is the Beauty Bay Earthy palette. So this is obviously lots and lots of green, and inside I have, like you will have already heard, I have already used this palette, so this isn't a first impression, but I wanted to just recreate the look that I created before. So we've got a really great selection of mattes and glitters and shimmery shades, really pigmented, a really beautiful selection of like brighter shades, and then these ones are more like browny neutral shades. The shimmers are incredible, so I'm going to go through all of these, swatch them on my hand and show you what the colours look like on my skin tone in real life. So on the top row we have Trance, which is a matte bright green, and on the first swatch it looks a little patchy, but on the second swatch that colour really builds up. The second one across the top is called Moss, and that is a beautiful dark shimmery green. This one almost has a gold reflect to it. It's obviously green on the base, but it has a gold reflect to it. And then the last one on the top row is Apple, which is a matte, so I will go over that again. And that is a true neutral green. So then the next row, the first one is a shimmer, and this is called Pixie, and this is almost like a turquoisey teal greeny shade. It's not a true green, it almost leans more on the bluey side, but that is a shimmery one, and it has more of a silver cool toned reflect to it as opposed to this one that is more warm. The next shade along is called Pine, and this is a matte shade, so again I will swatch this one twice, and this is a true forest green, really deep green, really intense, really beautiful. And the last shade on the middle row is called Ray, and this is such an interesting shade. It's almost a golden peachy base, and the glitters reflect the green. It's almost like a duochrome shade. It's so beautiful, a really interesting shade to have in a green palette. And then the last row, these are the more browny toned neutral green shades. So this first one here is a matte shade, so I will swatch it twice, and this one is the shade Eucalyptus. The middle shade is a shimmer, so this one is called Lime, and look how intense that shade is. That's so pretty. And the last shade is another matte shade, and this one is called Pickle. So from the top we have Trance, Moss, Apple, Pixie, Pine and Ray, and then the last three are Eucalyptus, Lime and pickle. First, before I get into that, I'm going to blank out the eyelid. So I'm going to go in with the Collection, throwing my brushes everywhere. The Collection Lasting Perfection Stretch Concealer and Eyeshadow Primer. And I'm just going to pat this all over the eyelid and blend it right out to create a nice base. I did this the first time and it looked so good. It made a really nice base for the colours to go on. I will also say I was worried about these deeper shades staining my eyelids, and it didn't do that. My eyelids remained green. So I think I want to do something a bit brighter today. So I'm going to take a big fluffy brush and I'm going to go straight into this apple shade. Just get a little bit of that on the brush and start going through the crease, but mostly just on the outer corner. Shall I zoom you in? Let's zoom you in. You might be able to actually see what I'm doing. So then I'm taking a smaller, fluffier brush and I'm going to just dip lightly into this pickle shade just to deepen up this outer corner a little bit. I want something quite smoky and winged out today, I think. But I'm just concentrating this on that outer corner. And I'm not worried about any of this under here because I will go in with a cotton pad with some micellar water and clean that up before we move on. So as I'm applying that darker shade, that pickle shade to the outer corner, I'm just swapping in between both brushes to make sure all of that is blending in nicely, and then I'm reassessing, do I need more colour? So I'm just going to dip into the lightest shade called Trance, and I'm going to make sure there isn't too much on there, and start brightening up right in that inner corner, taking that along the lid as well. And as I'm blending that shade out, I'm taking it right up into that like inner corner area and right through the brows. You can clean all that up afterwards just to make sure that it's really, really blended. So then I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to use the lime shade on the bottom row, the brightest of the shimmery shades, and I'm going to pack that all over the lid. I'm going to look down whilst I do this so I can get as much of that shimmer on that lid space, and then back in with that blending brush to make sure there aren't any edges. And whilst I'm blending this, I am just dipping in and then blending just to make sure there's extra shimmer on there, because you know that's what I'm here for. So with that same smaller brush, I'm going to go into the shade Ray and pack that on the inner corner. And then I just want to put a little bit of a deeper colour right on the very outer corner. So this is the Eucalyptus shade. And I'm just tapping that on, and I'm not going to blend that out very much at all. I just want a little bit more depth just there on the outer corner. And then with nothing on the brush, just make sure that that darker shade is blending into that shimmer nicely. And that is pretty much me done. I really like that. That's definitely brighter than what I did before, because what I did before was very pine heavy. I used a lot of this one, so it was a lot deeper, whereas this I feel is more bright. I do really like it though. Sorry if I keep going out of shot. So I'm just going to take a wipe and go under here where I got a lot of that shimmery shade from that inner corner and take it out like so. So now that is all cleaned up, I will zoom you out and we will do the rest of the base makeup. So on that original look, I did a very sort of matte foundation and matte base, and I liked how it looked in contrast with the very intense green eyes. So I'm going to do exactly the same base makeup. So I went in with the L'Oreal Glow Cherie Natural Glow Enhancer. For foundation, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. I wear this in the shade Fair 120. And I actually find with this foundation that one pump all over the face makes a really nice light coverage, in that it feels very, very light on the skin, but it covers everything. The colour correction in this is incredible. I mean, you will have seen there from like applying it and not applying it, the redness in my cheeks is just pretty much completely gone. I mean, I am obviously going to use a concealer as well, but I've really been enjoying this. The finish of it is really nice. I apply it with a brush and then go over it with a sponge just to make sure there aren't any brush strokes, because there always is. I mean, you can still see the spots that I have at the minute. You can still see my freckles, but the colour correction of it is just what I love the most. I really enjoy it. For concealer, I'm going in with the Revlon Colour Stay Skin Awaken 5-in-1 concealer. This is a really nice one in conjunction with that e.l.f. CC Cream. I find that they work well together because this is more glowy and hydrating, and it's a little bit lower coverage that works well with the higher coverage of the e.l.f. CC Cream. So I'm just using this mainly under the eyes and down the centre of the face, just to brighten, hydrate a little bit more in the centre there, but I don't need a whole load more coverage. Like that e.l.f. one is good on its own, but you can see how glowy that concealer is. It's so pretty. And again, I blend this in with a brush and then I just tap over it with my sponge just to make sure it is all blended. For bronzer, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Putty bronzer. I have this in the shade Tan Lines. I am really far down this product now, which makes me really happy because you can see visually how much I love this product. I genuinely use this all the time. So I'm just using this to warm up the skin, to add a bit more life back in. I feel like I can't take myself seriously until I've got my brows done. Does anybody else feel like that? I think I'm gonna have to do that as my next step. Just with this amount of eye makeup on, I feel like I can't get the balance right because my eyebrows aren't on. Brows are next. So for the brows, I'm going in with the Eyelure brow pencil in the shade Dark Brown. I have such a teeny tiny little pencil left, but I really enjoy this pencil, so I'm just going to do my brows. So that's just the brow pencil, and then going in with the Benefit 24-hour brow setter just to fluff them right up, to make them just look that little extra bit fluffier. So they are looking fluffy, they are looking full, and that is what we want. So now I can concentrate more on the base. I can see what I'm working with a bit more. I'm going to go in with another bronzer. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I have really been loving this. The shade of it is just perfect for me in this sort of in-betweeny time when it's meant to be summer, but it's not quite feeling like high summer and I'm not tanned. This is just the perfect amount of colour to make me look like I'm genuinely bronzed without looking too much. Because who wants to look too much when they've got this amount of green on their eyeballs? For blusher, I'm going in with this one. This is the Revolution Blusher Reloaded in Pink Lady. I thought the intensity of this pink would look nice with the intensity of the green. We'll see. So I'm going to go in with eyeliner now. Risky, but where have I put it? It's this one. This is the Revolution Pro Rockstar Matte Liquid Eyeliner. I really quite enjoy this one. It is very black. It's very easy to apply because it's not got one of those like foam tip applicators. It is an actual brush. The only thing is, and I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but just coming out the top of the brush there, can you see there is a hair sticking out of the brush? and I've tried cutting them off and another one just comes up, and I'm scared I'm just going to run out of brush bristles at this point. So that's just something to be aware of. The bristles do sometimes go a little bit wherever they want, but I'm going to do quite an intense wing. Okay, so we're not going to look very closely at the eyeliner at all. Thank you very much. It looks atrocious, but I'm going to just finish off the under eyes. So I'm going to go in with the shade Apple on a small fluffy brush, and I'm just going to run that under the lower lash line and smoke it right out, like so. I'm going to just put a little bit of pickle on the outer sort of third, just to tie it in with what we've got going on above, and then a bit of that lightest metallic-y shade, Ray, on the inner corner and along the lower lash line, just to join that in. If I leave my eyes open like this, you can't tell how bad that eyeliner is, but oh, that doesn't look great, does it? They're completely different. Just not my finest work. And they are actually going off at two completely different angles as well. Not a lot I can do about that now. For mascara, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Big Mood Mascara. This is so dramatic, it's so lengthening, it's so thickening that it's almost going to hide most of this. I'm also secretly hoping that it's going to hide most of that eyeliner, but we're just going to apply about 7 layers. I joke, of course, I'm going to apply like 2. Okay, so I feel like that mascara has helped the liner situation. I still can't help but see that this side is going straight out and this side is like winged up. It's my own fault. I can't blame anybody but myself. So lastly for the face, I'm going in with the XX Revolution highlighter in the shade Echo. It's so pretty. Like, it's a lot. But I'm obviously here for a lot. Look at my eyeballs. And while we're here, because I just like the way that it looks, I want to put a bit of this on the inner corner. I know I already have that green, that Ray shade on the inner corner. I like how it looks when I have the same highlight on my cheeks as I do on the inner corner. I feel like that just makes it look really cohesive, and obviously it's just so reflective. What I've got left on my brush, I will tap down my nose and then onto the lips. So the lip liner that I'm using today is the Revolution Satin Kiss lip liner in the shade White Wedding. But I love this shade. I feel like this is the perfect amount of like not too pink, not too nude for this kind of look. But I am going to top it with a lipstick. So I have scribbled in most of my lips with that lip liner. But I'm just going to tap over the centre with more of a nude shade. This is the L'Oreal Color Riche Ultra Matte in the shade No Cliche. And this just over the middle stops it looking too pink, stops it leaning too intense. It just neutralizes it a little bit, and I really like those two together. So I feel like I just need a bit more bronzer. So going back in with that Physicians Formula one. I'm happy. I think I'm done. So that is another look done with this Beauty Bay eyeshadow palette. So I've used this twice now, obviously only one video you have seen, but both looks I have loved. I feel like this one is a little bit more wearable than that first one that I did. This is just a really classic smoky eye, just with an unclassic colour combination. So if you like this video, then please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more from me. I have 2 more Beauty Bay palettes that I'm going to be testing. I have also recently just tested the Pastels palette, so that is already on my channel if you want to see that. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye!